Welcome to Narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. Well, it's Saturday morning, it's bright and early, it's about 6 o'clock, and my plan for today is to sand down the two rails on the top of the boat, put the undercoat on there, put undercoat on the roof, put undercoat on the sides, and then try to put some top coat on the back kind of stern area, because that's had 2 coats of undercoat already. So I've got a good weekend in terms of weather. I had some friends round last night actually, which was nice. They stayed over, obviously not on the boat because, well, there's no room with all the bricks and stuff at the moment, but they stayed in their camper van up on the up in the car park, so that was good. Got all this delivery of beer yesterday from young Carol, so I think she was obviously quite touched with me going down to see her in the week, because I've come back to like 200 cans of beer. So I mean, it's good timing because yeah, friends up last night, going out tonight, and yeah, a weekend painting the boat. Beer is excellent. But also last night, Carol, we had these biscuits last night. Well, this one was finished. These are insane. I mean, I've eaten biscuits all my. These are I've never and we were all the same. There was a captain at BA and someone who used to work on first class British Airways, and they said they've never had biscuits on board anything like this. These are amazing, really amazing. They should be. They're £1 a biscuit, I worked out. But yeah, rather good they are. So yeah, the plan will be to kind of sand down those rails. I didn't get a big belt sander, so I'm only going to be able to just use the small piece of sandpaper, but it should be fine. I'll get through it this morning. And then it's going to be a bit hot this afternoon, so I really want to get the paint on this morning and kind of leave it for a bit. Anyway, let's go and see if my mates have woken up yet. I'll be quiet, but I don't think they've woken up yet. You'll see here the float switch kind of working. So as the water pumps out, that pedal of the float switch drops and it gets to 11 and it turns itself off. There was a bit I filled in with that fat boy stuff, so it's worked quite well, and I reckon after another coat you're not going to see that at all. But in terms of, yeah, that is so smooth. That's worked really nicely. The mushroom vents, now I've changed the colour scheme on the boat, the brass is going to look really nice against, I reckon if that was in the green, I reckon that'd look really nice. And I might, if I can be bothered, do this all green and make the nuts, or the bolts even, no, the nuts, do them cream, just to add a bit of detail. But I reckon, yeah, that would look quite good across there. Because I was concerned that those against the blue would be a bit regal, and those against grey, well, it'd look as it is now, pretty naff. So that's good. And obviously I'm going to finish these up a bit more and then put some clear varnish on them to protect them. And in terms of livery, I've thought long and hard about this. So obviously the only space on here I can have it is at the back here. So Slow Patrol kind of written there. And then I could have it here at the front, which people have suggested, so I could keep it even both sides. The problem with that is that when you look front on, which the only time you do that is in a lock possibly, but you're going to be able to see it on both sides, which don't quite like the idea of that. And then the livery on the other side is basically going to be where Carol is now. So it's not going to be the only way I could, so I was just going to say it's not going to be the same on both sides, which is not the end of the world, because you very rarely see, well, I think it's nearly impossible without reflection to see both sides at this area of the boat. So, you know, you're not going to notice really, but the only way of getting around it and making it absolutely identical is having it this side of the seam, so just there, and then I could have that mirrored on the other side. So basically that seam is where the hatch is on the other side. So that'd be the only way of kind of doing it there. If I did it at the back here and made it identical, it's just way too small. So I'm not going to bother with that. That's where I have the boat number can be up there. And then a few people mentioned this on the last video, and I think you're onto something. This extension is unnatural in terms of being out of steel. It just looks wrong from pretty much every angle. You'll see here on the curve side of the boat, nice curve, and then it's got this angle there, and obviously it's the same on the other side. It's just unattractive, and a few people commented and suggested that I disguise it as like a crutch cover, which I think is exactly what I'm going to do. If you were to have a crutch cover fitted to this boat beforehand, like, so the front doors would have basically been there, and this would have all been a well deck, and to protect the well deck you'd have had a canvas crutch cover, which is basically exactly that shape. They put a beam in at the top and then an A-frame here at the front, and then it have kind of ridges down the side, so it's exactly the same, and it, you know, usually be navy blue or something like that. But I reckon that is the solution to the ugly problem. It would also disguise this seam here, which out of all of them is definitely the ugliest, because it raises up. But I reckon disguising that as a crutch cover would be brilliant. And then the front doors, I could actually paint them in the style of a crutch cover. And for those of you who don't know, let me go and see if I can find one and show you what they look like. Follow me. Oh dear. Okay, here's two examples of crutch covers. So obviously this one extends above the boat a little bit higher than mine. Mine's probably, well, in terms of shape, looks a little bit more like that one there. So you see that's the ridge that mine's got. Then it comes forward and it's got this kind of A-frame thing on it. So up like that. And obviously I can make my doors look a little bit like that. So I couldn't quite paint it canvassy like that. I couldn't have a window on it. But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. So I think that's a really good idea. So thanks for all those suggestions. Well, it's now about 7:30. The roof has been lightly sanded. Mushroom vents have been taken off. Chimney's been taken off. So I'm now ready to put the last coat of undercoat on the roof. I really want to get this on before the heat comes from the sun. So we've got a couple hours. That'll be fine. guys are getting bigger. Some cornflakes. They really like cornflakes. Yeah. And only the best for our ducklings. When the dad's around, he kind of observes them all eating, and if one of them is eating too much, he'll kind of peck at them. Or if any of the food goes near him and one of the ducklings go for it, he doesn't half make a scene. Oh, that's tempting. And that's where the Fat Boy stuff went on. So now it's had 2 coats. You can't see it at all. And the collar around the flue has been painted. Obviously that top part is covered by the chimney. Well, that's all the undercoating done. That's all she's going to get. The steel's baking hot now. It's like 3 in the afternoon. But the paint had pretty much gone off by the time the main heat came. So I think I got away with it. And hopefully I'll do the same again tomorrow morning. It's going to be a scorcher again tomorrow. So I really need to get that first coat on in whatever way I'm doing it. In whatever part of the boat, I've got to get that on kind of crack of dawn again, which kind of, well, tonight I'm going out with my sister, going to Harpenden for her partner's birthday, so I will probably have a fairly early night once I get back from that. So hopefully get up pretty early and beat the morning sun really. But I'm excited to see what it looks like with the paint on. My friends, when they came up, Elise has got like this big iPad, and she took a photo of the boat, and she's got some software. She coloured it in the colour of the paint. I showed her the colour and she matched it, and I think it's going to look good. It's going to, the horrible brass on the aluminium windows is actually going to look all right against the green. So yeah, so I'm excited about it going on. So I'll get that on tomorrow, and really need to turn my attention to the deck again tomorrow. So I will get the coat of paint on first thing, and then go to timber yard and pick up some battens to put down on the steel structure in the stern. That would be the plan. So yeah, jobs are good. Hope you have a nice weekend. Enjoy the sun wherever you are. Take care. Bye bye.